Hi everybody and welcome. Today we're going to do Lubia Lahem. This is green beans, which are Lubia, and Lahem, which is meat. This is another one of our series of cooking the minute you get home from work. You gotta do something good and you gotta do it quick. The benefit about this one is you could do it the night before. You could actually do it that morning if you don't mind leaving a slow cooker running, or you can do it the minute you get home and within 45 minutes it'll be great. So again, there's no mise en place, there's no pre-setup. I've got some things that are on the counter because I just finished cooking something else, but I'm gonna do this in real time with no editing. And what we're gonna show you, one little trick this time is a combination of spices that if you add to anything will give you a Mediterranean flavor. It's the Lebanese spices my mother would always use, so that you can actually just throw just about anything in a bowl, add these spices, and get a good meal for the day. And we'll continue to do that, to show you combinations of spices that work really well together. So let's get started. You get home from work, you gotta start cooking. You grab yourself an onion. Yes, I buy peeled garlic. I know you can buy garlic, take the head, crack it, shake it, and it'll peel itself. But the truth is, if you look at the price for garlic, and in a lot of places the garlic is pretty crappy, this actually turns out to be a pretty good deal. So you want garlic, you want an onion, you need allspice, which I actually ground, but there's some there, and you need cinnamon, which I've actually already ground out of sticks. And then you need your green beans, your meat, and a slow cooker or an Instant Pot, either one. So we're gonna put that over there, your cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and get going. So you get home from work, you peel your onion, use the side of the onion and just get that skin going. Personally, the way I like to do it is I'll cut a line in an onion like that, and then I'll just peel that whole outer layer off, because it doesn't actually cost you, quote unquote, cost you too much onion. All right. Sometimes you're gonna find onions that you buy in the store have little black mold on them. If they do, give it a little rinse. If it doesn't come off with ease, just take that part of the onion off. It's okay. Onions are actually stored for a long time, and the longer they're stored, the crispier the outer skin gets. And sometimes you get a little of that black mold, but you see it's not a big deal. So quick rinse, get the slimy off. We're gonna wanna dice it. When you get to this edge, just roll it over, roll it flat. Can you guys see that? Let's take a look at the camera. Yeah, you can see that. All right, remember, no editing. And then we're just gonna cut those. Now, this is rough. I'm not worried about making it little, because these are gonna cook for a long time, get nice and soft. All right, so give it a rough chop. This is a rough chop, lazy rough chop. I'm in a hurry. I wanna have my glass of wine. I wanna sit with my family for dinner. I don't want to cook for hours. Or even better, you're making this on a weekend. You don't want to waste your weekend cooking the whole weekend. So we're going to take our slow cooker. We're going to plug it in. You could use an Instant Pot. I was going to use an Instant Pot. We bought one for my daughter, but we got her a tiny little dorm version. So no Instant Pot, but if you have one, use it. So in your slow cooker, put a little oil. I like olive oil. No reason, I just like the smell and the taste. So add a little bit of that, throw in your onions. Doesn't have to already be hot, these are all gonna sweat down. The other thing you're gonna do is you're gonna throw some salt on them. Salt will help them break down. Here's my salt, little salt. So let's call it a teaspoon, half teaspoon, not too much. All right, while those are heating, the whole idea here is to be multi-threaded, right? So you're gonna take the green beans. We don't have to get fancy. You don't have to sit here with the knife. Look, you take the end that has the stem, pinch it off, break it in half. These are already washed from the market. Throw them in. Snap. That's it. I'm doing this in real time. There's no editing, so you can see just how quickly you can do this. So you having conversation. How was your day today, kids? Does anybody have homework? Oh, you got a great grade on that test, Zach. You're such a smart little boy. So awesome. You know what? You're gonna get dessert tonight. Daddy's gonna cook some pineapples on the green egg after this is done. And we're gonna sit out in the backyard. Daddy will have his bourbon, Mommy will have a nice glass of wine. You play with your brother and have these delicious pineapples as a reward for doing a good job. Oh, there comes your spouse in the door. Tough day at work, no problem. Take my glass of wine. Drink that. You'll feel better. I'm making lubia and it'll be done by the time we're done with that bottle of wine. Look how easy this is. If you're really smart, you get the kid to come and snap these because you make it a game. Listen, snap, snap. All right. Now, if this is actually too much work, you got a problem. You cannot use canned green beans, all right? What you could have done is you could have done these in advance, but this is all about coming home and wanting to do something. So, live, we got someone at the door. Oh, hands full, okay. All right, so beans. I didn't want to pre-do these for you guys. Keep an eye on the clock, how fast we're doing this. This isn't rocket science. So you're cooking and your family comes in and out with boxes and real quick. So when you're done with this, the heat should be all the way up. That way some of the stuff is already cooking. You're going to need one more thing that's not out here. You want tomato paste, not sauce. So you take tomato paste, you're gonna put the whole, one of those little cans, we're gonna put the whole one in. Hey buddy, go get me a tomato paste out of the thing there before you sit down to eat. See? Yep, the little cans, buddy. Thank you. Good deal. So you could do 2 at a time. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually do the sauce and season it. So we're going to throw the allspice, the garlic, and the cinnamon. And then we're going to tell you about how to do the spice. In fact, I'll tell you about the spice combination now. So if you use allspice, cinnamon, garlic, onions, salt, and pepper, you can make pretty much anything taste Mediterranean. Now, a lot of Mediterranean recipes will call for cumin as well. I don't use that. My mother didn't use that. And you'll find a lot of people, if they eat your food that you put cumin in, will think, hey, this is Mexican, right? Because a lot of people don't associate cumin. So you just want to be careful on that. But it's definitely like 5 times the amount of allspice to the amount of cinnamon you use. So it's really important to get that right. The cinnamon brings some sweetness, so if you put too much, you'll get this really sweet dish that is definitely not Mediterranean. Now, in some Mediterranean dishes, they actually use a lot of cinnamon, and if that's what you're going for, go for it. For something like this, it's going to be closer to 5 to 1. Also, in a lot of the sweeter dishes, you add nutmeg. Also, there's a version of allspice that's not the allspice berry. It's actually a mix of spices, almost like Chinese 5-spice. Don't use that. That's not the right thing. All right, we're almost done. There's some in here that are a little beaten up. Don't put those in there. Break off the edges. Some of the smaller ones can go in whole. Throw that in there. That goes in there. I'm going to tell you, this is delicious. Now, you can also make this without the meat. Some people don't want the meat. Don't use the meat. It's called Lubia bezait. And what you do is you just add a little more oil at the end. And it's green beans and oil is what Lubia bezait is. And the right way to serve this dish is over a bed of rice. And it's excellent that way. All right, I can hear my onions starting to sizzle. give them a little move everything around a little. That looks good. By the way, when you're in the market, you're buying green beans, don't be embarrassed to snap one. If they don't snap, yeah, they're junk. Don't buy them. Make something else. You know, you can substitute okra for this dish almost identically, and it's delicious. It gives you a nice thick broth. I don't like that green bean at all. Throw that out. So, okra, green beans. There's another dish that uses green peas, but you actually make that with ground beef. But the seasonings are all roughly the same. So, get the seasonings right, you're good to go. All right, now we're gonna move into opening this. A lot of times I'll sear the meat first, but this is all about time management. If I don't have time to sear the meat first, I don't. You know what? It's still delicious. So we'll take this can if it wants to open. There we go. We'll spoon in the entire can. Alright, I'm going to mix that in because we're going to add a bunch of water. We're going to move this over here now so you can see. Alright, so it looks like a pasty mess. Christmas colors. We don't want that to cook too long without the water in it, just a little bit. Then we're going to take the garlic. We're going to want, maybe... That's like a tablespoon or so of garlic. You don't even need to cut them up, just mash them. Take your knife, hit them flat. It's all good. Trust me, people will fight over those. You like more garlic, put more. Don't put less. Trust me, it won't be good. All right, garlic's in. This is a nice part. I have a little sink right here, so I can just push this over and start adding water. You're going to put water to cover by about a half an inch, maybe an inch. All right, let that do its thing. Now we added green beans in a bunch of water, so we're going to add another. Oops, I lost my spatula. Half a tablespoon plus a teaspoon of salt, so that's like 2.5 teaspoons. You're gonna add more later when you taste it. There's no reason to add too much more now. You want just enough now to kind of break things down. The next thing is you can do this with super cheap meat. Here's the deal. If you want to do a cheap meat, that's fine, but you can't do the fast job. It's the long job, okay? Because that needs to have its connective tissue all broken down. You don't have time for that, you're gonna have to go with sirloin. All right, this will cook quicker and it'll be tender. Jesus, he gave me gigantic pieces of sirloin. Okay, so what we're looking for here is about 1-inch cubes-ish. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just try to get them about the same size. Toss them in. Everybody goes in the pot. This is the benefit of one pot cooking, and so much of my grandmother's cooking was one pot. All right. Whoa, that was a mistake. We're going to cut off some of this here. This is silver skin. It's what keeps all your skin. It's the skin that keeps your muscles together. All the animals, including you. All right. Nice thing about sirloin, because it's very tender and has just a little bit of connective tissue in there, the good connective tissue, this will cook nice and quick. And it'll be tender. If you try to do this with stew meat, you're gonna go, hey, I'm leaving a comment on that dude's video because it was like eating leather. And I'll go, hey, I told you don't use stew meat for a fast version. All right. This is it. We just keep going. How's that sandwich, buddy? Good. All right, I like to flatten it out. Get it to the size I want. All right, so now the meat's in. We're going to just move it around. There we go. Now, wash your hands. All right, next, the combo of spices. This, can you see this? Come on, there you go. This is a conical burr grinder. I've used it to grind all my spices, gift from my sister. I highly recommend it. If you're going to grind something like allspice berries, you start with kind of coarse-ish, then push it back in, make a nice mess, and then put it through extra fine. All right, I think we're good. So the thing is, you can use right out of a jar, it's fine. Is it going to be different? Absolutely. It just won't have as much flavor. You might have to use a little bit more than that. I'm going to add enough to cover the entire top. That's got to be at least a tablespoon, but you want the whole top covered. All right. Then give that a mix. The next thing I'm going to add is the cinnamon. Again, if you buy it in a container, that's fine. I'm telling you, it doesn't take too much extra time to grind it yourself. I ground this, I just broke up the cinnamon sticks, threw it in that thing and said go, and I just went coarse, little more fine, until I got to the powdery consistency I want. This is going to be just a little. That's like a half a teaspoon. That's it. It's very strong. I don't want this overly sweet. If it was lamb instead of beef, which you could use, you might use a little more. The last spice, pepper. A nice dusting across the top. All right, little mix. Lid up. Where's the lid? There's the lid. We lit it, and that's it. Let it sit for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Figure, you're home by, hopefully 6:30, 7 and change you're eating. If you did this in the morning, just leave that on low heat. Low heat by the time you get home. That's going to be amazing. You could throw it in the night before, leave it in the fridge, use just the pot, put it on the counter and set it off as you leave. If you add an extra inch or two of water, you could actually start it the night before. I wouldn't do that. Green beans are going to get soggy. But this is one that if you cook it on the weekend and you put it in containers and freeze it, it microwaves really great, easy to use, easy to eat. Everybody will love it. So keep in mind, your combination is cinnamon, allspice, garlic, onion, salt, pepper. This combination plus cumin, if you are into that, will always give you a really nice Mediterranean dish. You can just interchange vegetables and meat types and still get really tasty stuff. So hopefully you guys get the chance to make this. This is how I'm going to try to do a few videos from now on. It's going to be off the cuff cooking, so you can see, that you can do it even with a busy schedule. So good luck. Give us a subscribe if you like this content. Click the notification icon and leave a comment. The comments for these types of videos I'm really hoping to get from you guys is this good? Is this helpful? Or would you rather see all the neat mise en place with a nice recipe? Or is off the cuff cooking something that's helpful that you can see, Jesus, I could have done that. That's not hard. And it really comes down to what spices that you need to combine. Let me know. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.